All right, guys, welcome back to the Raised Hunting Podcast. I'm your host, David Holder. I'm joined today by half of the – so I'm still going to apologize because I have no idea what Easton might say that will get us in trouble, but I don't have to be as worried today because we have a replacement for Warren today. So Warren –
You have to apologize for him, too.
Yeah, well, I know that nobody out there knows Jason that we're yet, but I know Jason. So yes, there's a very good chance that he falls under the same umbrella. So anyhow, that's just kind of a coverall in case we do say something that we're not supposed to.
The goal is one out-of-pocket comment every episode.
I'm all right with that, but I don't think I can do as many push-ups as Warren. I bet I could outrun him, though.
Warren can't do push-ups. You kidding me?
Yeah, guy's
He just
barrel-chested.
look big.
Well, so Warren's not here to defend himself, and so we're like full on Iowa rut, and he can't get a shot at a buck to save his ass. However,
neither can you.
I can't either. So I guess if I'm going to throw Warren under the bus, it's going to have to be a big bus because we're both getting under it. No, we're passing some okay deer, but I mean, we're not passing anything that is like we should be shooting or whatever. Yeah. They're 2 and 3 year old kind of deer, that kind of stuff. So
Legend, you've got to get out of here and you got to chill. You're going to ruin everything.
No, you're
Legend,
not, puppy.
Come here.
No, you're not.
Sit.
Oh, my goodness.
Sit. All right, we're having a dog malfunction. Sit. Okay, dog, listen. We're doing a podcast, so sit. Okay.
Dude, he ain't going to sit.
No, he's watching his dad. All right, so anyhow, but today we have a special guest, and that is Jason Dyer. Jason will have to give you his official title. We just call him, he's the dude at Primos now. And so that's how that works. And so for many of you that do listen to the podcast pretty hardcore, you probably know that David's connection to Primos has been long-standing. The whole family, Easton and Warren and Karen, and that's been since Raised Hunting, the inception of Raised Hunting. Mine went another 10, 12 years before that. So anyhow, Jason has now been with Primos for how long?
Like 18 months or so, somewhere around there, year and a half plus. Yeah.
So anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jason. We're going to talk a little bit about some whitetail stuff. We're going to kind of give you an update on where we are this month or this week, I guess, for where we are in the month of whitetail deer season. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Primos stuff as well, because you're going to have to tell me what I can and cannot say about what you brought and why you're here and that kind of stuff, because
let's just let it cut loose. I'm good with that. Like that stuff's rolling into production. We can talk about the calls
Very cool.
that you guys got to toy with here. So
awesome.
I'm in.
All right. So anyhow, Jason Dyer, welcome to Winterset, Iowa, my friend. Appreciate you coming out. And then Matt, I didn't catch Matt's last name that was running the camera for us.
Neuschwander.
That's it.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy on like the football or soccer team that like the name goes across and it actually like bends down past his shoulders.
Dot behind
yeah, exactly. It's just like new ...
I think we should take a stab at trying to spell it.
I'm good.
Oh, dude,
Neuschwander.
I've known him for 10 years and I still
I'm thinking
can't.
it's like NEUSCHWANDER. Neuschwander, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think something like that. Neuschwander. I butcher it. All right, here we go. It is NEUENSWANDER.
Okay, I was way off, but I was close.
You were way better than what I would have guessed.
But anyhow, Matt and Jason have been here for the last couple days, and we got to, meaning Easton and Warren and myself, have gotten to demo and help take some photos and things like that of some new Primos calls, and particularly the whitetail line is what's going on. And I will be honest, I am still carrying, most people have seen it if you've watched our videos, I've been carrying the same grunt call for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Probably. It's a trophy buck and doe. I mean, it's just been my go-to call, and then I taped the snort wheeze to it. which Primos makes calls that have both of them. Yeah. But I just love the way that call sounded. And I told you before when you pulled them all out, and I was like, yeah, you won't get me to change probably, but, I'll try them. Well, I was wrong because that new icon, the Challenger, and you did say we could talk about it, right?
Yeah, we can talk about the Challenger. It's a great call.
If you're looking for a deep grunt call, this one is it. What is cool is it's a hardwood call. Do you know what kind of wood that's made out of?
Rainforest wood because it's green.
Yeah.
There's no paint involved.
Well, it's kind of funny. A similar call to it has sat in our line for years. It's been out of our custom mill setup, so higher end, more echeloning. Like you guys could get your Raised Hunting logo on it, or you could get Happy Birthday Warren or something like that, obviously engraved on it. It gets sent to you in this nice butcher paper wrap, and it's very special, but the demand for it and the feedback's been so great, we had to add it to the line. It had to come, and the whole Icon series is something that we've been working on for a couple of years now. We were going to try to release it in 24, and there were some tweaks we needed to make. It wasn't right. So instead of soft launching it and maybe have some callbacks and some failures on it, we shelved it, and we're going to release it in 26. So we'll have turkey calls in the spring, followed up with elk calls. Let's call it June-esque, May-June-esque. And then the deer calls will come right on top of that. And we had the two new ones that you guys are out testing, which is you talked about the Challenger, and then we had the Endgame that Easton was trying. And, a little bit of different tone, a little more aggressive. You can do some variants on it. Like Easton was figuring it out today when we were out shooting some photos of the Endgame. It's small. That's
it's
super small. Vinyl harness.
Maybe 2 inches. I mean, what are you giggling at, Nick? I knew that. I knew as soon as it's maybe 2 inches, right?
Nick's like, no,
there we go.
It's got to be a little bit shorter than that.
Well, we're 5 minutes in and it's already going.
I was actually comparing it to the last brow tine I saw on one of the bucks, and I was like, okay, it's about the size of some of the brow tines on one. Now the one that I was using, the Challenger, now that's straight up brow tines because it's 8 inches long. It's big.
Well, the good thing is the color it is. You drop it, you can find it. It's great to have a nice lacquered, you look at this table, nice lacquered, brown-esque call, you dump that thing on the ground and good luck.
Yeah.
Especially when it's, when you're packing out of the woods or you're fumbling through stuff just trying to get to the woods to your blind or your stand, or even you're still hunting first thing in the morning, you dump that thing and it's half dark and you're spending the next 40 minutes digging through leaves trying to find it. This will hopefully help you a little bit. Smaller one, to be determined.
I have a little retractable thing that I used to put my rangefinders on, so that if I ever dropped them or something, now I just use one of the bungee things. But I would hook it to my bino harness. That will be going on one.
Yeah,
I'll hook it to my harness, and his little stays in there, and then if I drop it, it's going to be connected still.
No, well, totally get that.
The Endgame, for as small as it is. Yeah. It's got a heck of a tone, especially if you cup your hands.
Yeah,
and that's what you were doing this morning. Yeah. He made some variable sound, and we were doing a photo shoot, so we're yipping and yelping, making fun of each other, and we swear we were hearing something up around the corner, and we couldn't figure it out.
Deer coming, actually.
Really?
Yeah. We all got quiet for a little bit because you could hear them coming through the leaves and everything.
Yeah, we and we're not just saying it because we're on this podcast right now.
We're both pretty shocked, actually,
because we were being yokels. Second, third day of a photo shoot, get a little slap happy at that point, and. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm just hearing something. And then Easton mentioned it. I'm like, all right, I'm not the only one. And it was just kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah, it was. We should back up, though, and get to know Jason a little bit because he's been around a long time. May not have been with Primos for a long time. But so how did you get to Primos?
Do you want the long term or the short term? How do you want me to speed this up?
How about the midterm?
Midterm? I'll take midterm. All right. Born and raised New Hampshire boy.
All you Eastern guys will appreciate that.
Yeah, total Eastie, but I will explain. I am not an Eastie. Dad, avid whitetail hunter, fly fisherman, raised under him. Hunted up until, my mid-teens or so, but skateboarding, snowboarding, and girls kind of took priority in high school sports. I was a very avid runner in high school, and then my winters were chewed up by competition snowboarding, and that that took precedence. So fly fishing stuck around, but unfortunately hunting got shelved, and it got shelved for a while. So, you speed up through the years, tried a competitive snowboard career, didn't work out, but got in the outdoor industry, and had kind of gone through that and speed up years and years later. I ended up, really good friend of mine I fished a lot with, snowboarded a lot with, was really into waterfowl. He's like, you just got to come out and shoot ducks with me. And I'm like, all right, let's go shoot some ducks. Like, he obviously had, I already had the wader set up, everything like that, and just started smashing ducks. And that was good. That was real good. And then I got the job head of content for Sportsman's Warehouse. So we had, managing their direction and their visibility towards the customer from every image point of view went through me. And I use that as an excuse just to drive in. I grew up shooting recurve guy through and through. I might have been able to count on a hand how many times I've drawn back a compound. I'm like, you know what? I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm like teeing up on a compound setup. We had a great relationship with Bear. Bear came full setup off the rack. Got some FMJs from Easton and just went at it. Just started shooting arrows as much as I could. I was shooting I go out at lunchtime because we had a range out there. I'd shoot 80 arrows or something like that at lunch, just stacking them. And
a lot easier to hit something with a compound.
I know, it's way easier to hit stuff with a compound. But here's funny thing 101 is I didn't know how to sight it in, because I always window shot. So I just window shot the bow. And we went out to the Easton Archery facility with one of my rep friends, guy Jason Curry. He's like, hey, let's back it up to 70. I'm like, dude, I'll shoot 30 yards, maybe 40. I'm like, I don't know what's 70. And so we're out shooting 70. He's like, all right, you're hitting the target, but you are all over the place. He's like, how's your sighting in on that? I'm like, sighting in what? And he's like, wait, you didn't sight that in? And I'm like, nope.
Just had references? Is that what
I was just window shooting. I knew how my arrow flight paths would go, and I could just dump it.
You were basically doing what you were doing with your recurve with a compound. Yeah.
So speed it up.
You shouldn't have even bought the sight. I guess it came with it.
So. Yeah, it came with it. Yeah, and it was great. And when I learned how to sight it in, it got even better. But yeah, it was awesome. And I never go half cocked.
That's like, this gun is awesome, and now that I got bullets, you should see this.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it right there. So, Curry still beats me up to the day on that one. And this guy's New York hunter, lived out west for the past 25 years. He's got a pile of elk and whitetail and muleys under him. So, he obviously fun aside kind of guided me into that. And then I was like, all right, getting tags, let's go out. And then it's used to the New Hampshire way, slide $150 over, you get archery, muzzy, rifle, shotgun tag handed over, and I didn't understand. I'm like, wait, what's this tag system about? What do you got going? Right. So had to dive into that. An Onyx, great learning tool to have that. I mean, I know you guys work with them occasionally,
absolutely,
but they just kind of learned me up on that. So I dived in and then just started solo hunting by myself because I had nobody to hunt with. So I just go out 3-4 days at a time, go out and do that, and wasn't successful first year. Second year, got a really coveted tag, and went out and got super frustrated. Got charged by a bear my first day out in the woods.
That's fun.
That was great.
Black bear?
Yeah, but he had beautiful cinnamon color. Got real, basically from me to you, I had to draw my gun. I thought I was gonna have to shoot him and then drive out and find the warden or DNR guy to do all the details on it, and everything like that.
But if you'd asked Warren, he would have emptied his clip already. They would have never gotten that close.
Dude, I'd already shot at 2 deer that morning, first morning opener, super solid 3x4, and then another 3x3, and then that happened, and I was looking over my shoulder. I left early. I had 5 days set up, and I left the night of day 4, I missed another deer that night, and that was a straw that broke the camel's back. I'm like, I'm out of here. Call my wife, driving
And you
home.
have a bear hunting you, so.
Yeah, no, that is like it's hard to get a bear tag in that zone because there's good bear hunting in that zone now that
obviously,
I know. Yeah. So it just kind of interesting with that. And then I ended up, they have extended archery in Utah. So you have your traditional, you draw a tag for a certain unit. And if you're unsuccessful, they have certain zones that go to extended after you're done. And one of them is the Wasatch Front where I live. And I do a lot of training right behind my house, and that's the extended zone. So spent some time in there and shot a really good buck that year. And you guys would be proud of me. Gutted him, dragged him down the hill, whitetail style.
Nice.
Never do that again.
No, out west is way too far to drag him.
Yeah, he was a slab of a deer. Like I got over 100 pounds of meat after getting him all set up. Like I brought him to we have a butcher right down the way, and I brought the deer in whole, and they were surprised. They're like, "Wait, this deer is whole," and I'm like, yeah, they don't all come in this way. And they're like, no, people will usually just quarter them. And I was like, man, I should have done that.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. I'm like, that's going to happen. So, yeah, and then speed up after that, like learned a bunch. And, yeah, it's been on for 6 years since then and just chasing everything. You know, I'm not the most successful hunter, but, you know, I try to, you know, be healthy, hike past, be ethical, you know, and play the game. Now I've got points in several different states. You know, I've rifle hunted for antelope in Wyoming a couple times, was successful there. And then, you know, just finally shot my first velvet buck this year, and it's been good. Yeah. There's a whole history right there. Now I'm here with Raised Hunting, and we're BSing about stuff, and I'm trying not to make a fool of myself.
How'd you get to Primos after? Where were you at during that?
So, left Sportsman's Warehouse after about 3 years, and then kind of floated a little bit, helping some places out because, you know, we're coming out of the pandemic. Ended up at Black Ovis and Camo Fire, helping them out, like get their inventory straightened and everything like that. And they ended up having to do multiple layoffs, and I got caught in that. And I don't know if most of your viewers, a lot of people on the eastern U.S., that is, you know, your main and central U.S., know Camo Fire very well. Unfortunately, the company filed Chapter 7 just under a month ago, which is really sad. There's some great people there, amazing hunters, just amazing people in the industry, and it's unfortunate. But
that's bankruptcy, right?
Oh yeah, that's burn the house down bankruptcy. So it's no coming back from that. So,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really tough. Kendall Card, who owns that company, me and him worked together years and years and years ago at backcountry.com. Most amazing individual ever. Give you shirt off his back. Like he's just good people. You guys would really like him.
That's cool.
He actually owns a bunch of land in Kentucky where you guys were hunting.
We need to know him then.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Kentucky.
I wouldn't mind going either.
Yeah, he when wasn't ATA down there a few years back?
Yes.
Yeah. So he went to ATA, like had a couple meetings in the morning, went out, shot 2 does, pulled them out, got them strung up, and then went back to ATA to finish some meetings.
That's
and then
slick.
Came back. Yeah, it was really funny because it was only like 45, maybe an hour drive, and just that guy loves to hunt, and it's amazing. And he's a very, very good hunter. And it's good. Cool. I learned a lot from him as well.
So it was Black Ovis, right?
Yep, Black Ovis and CamoFire.com.
And then from there you went to
Primos. Yeah, so here where I am today. A guy named Steve McGrath. We'd worked together on some projects at when I was at Sportsman's Warehouse, and then the president over the parent company, one of the presidents, one of the divisions. I'd worked with him in snow side of things years and years back, and it was just figuring out for a position to open for me. And as soon as it opened, here I am.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great journey. It's really fun to have this.
Well, you get to work with more fun people now.
Well, I mean, but it seems like you came along at a time too that, like, there's some cool stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, there's a lot of people that don't know that Primos is getting ready to celebrate a big anniversary.
Yeah,
and we definitely need to talk about that. I mean, I think that's 50 years is a long time.
Yeah, not a lot of companies make it there.
No.
I mean, and companies are happy these days to make it 20 years and to make it 50 years and not just like be like rolling into 50 years. Like we are full bore. We're one of the top We're one of the top call companies in the world by volume still today, if not the top company. And yeah, dude, we're doing it 50th. It's great. We're we're going to roll into trade show season. We're going to NWTF. We're going to have we're rolling out a 50th anniversary coffee table style book, which you've been talked to about with that. And Easton isn't even 50, so he doesn't even know where it starts.
Half.
Yeah,
Exactly
you're half there.
Yeah.
And then we're doing a video, kind of short, 20 to 30 minute video on the history of the people, not just the company, the people who make the company. And that's one thing that Will really likes to celebrate about Primos. It's not him, it's not Jimmy, it's not anything. It's the people that bring up that company, and that's what makes Will and Jimmy amazing, because it's not about them. It's about the people.
And we've talked about it while we've been here, a little bit. And I think the big thing for me, I can't remember why it was Primos Calls. I don't know why I got hooked on them. Mm-hmm. I for some reason, I feel like, because the first thing I started blowing obviously was turkey calls. I lived in the East. I grew up in Virginia.
Yeah.
And so I start with turkey calls, and then they just worked. I mean, they worked it, but I think the big thing that hooked a lot of guys, and I think a lot of our viewers will, especially the ones that are probably over 40, let's say, is the videos.
Yeah.
Primos was the top dog when it came to the Truth One deer, the Truth One elk, the Truth One and then they just kept going. I learned how to blow a turkey call. I was talking to Matt earlier today, and because I forgot about this when we were talking the other day, but mine was a VHS tape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I owned all the VHS tapes, but Primos came out with one, and I don't remember which one it was, but one of them, they had a segment in there where it was specifically hens. They just recorded hens on different hunts, and then they had them doing different, they're cackling or they're cutting, and it was, and so I would sit in my basement, and you'd literally have to, I mean, you had to sit by the TV so you could hit the remote control thing, right. And I'm rewind, play, and I'm trying to mimic that. My mom was furious with me because I spent hours, I broke the tapes.
Yeah, but you're not the only one doing that. Everybody was doing
right.
that.
I mean, that was great. The only way to learn, but they were the only ones that took the time. And that was the thing about all them sitting on the porch and telling you how that hunt just went down. Not just, you didn't just watch it. You got to okay, now I kind of understand where they're coming from. And I learned an incredible amount to get started hunting. So Primos is, I mean, as far as educating people, I think they did an unbelievable job. I think Will did. I mean, and I don't know if it was all about Will's, that was his thing. I know Will pretty well, and so I know how he feels about it. And he's got so much information in that head that he can't get it all out. There's more. I got to share a cab ride one time with him and Randy Anderson, and listening to those guys talk, it was like listening to the top two rock artists or musical art. They were talking about tones and things. I'm like, for a damn coyote call or what? Yeah, I was like, what the heck, But what they hear and what we hear, I'm the guy going, just give me the call when it's done, and I'll go see if it works. Let's go kill one. Those guys are not looking necessarily. Will is so detailed on trying to get something exactly right. And the next thing that, for me, when I moved to Montana, that's when I switched to elk, and it was Primos Calls that I ended up with again. And so it's been, I think it's cool as hell, especially if you go back and listen to Will tell. I hope the 50th anniversary book will have some stuff in there about the beginning, because the story about Will and how he got started, I mean, I just think it's hilarious. We're talking about drugstore type thing, calls sitting there. He's making a couple $100.
Yeah,
it's
very limited.
That could have been a pretty decent amount of chunk of change,
but it wasn't enough to pay the bills.
Well, the funny thing was the stuff he did to make the calls, and he'll tell you this all. This is great. It's a prophylactic. The part of the reeds. So he would go and buy in bulk at the drugstore in small town Mississippi, mass amount of condoms. and
all of them.
Yeah. But he was he was bulk ordering it and would always go in, and it's a small town USA, right? It's small town Mississippi, and he would come out with that, and of course everybody would talk, and he's like, yeah, that's right, that's what's up. We'll walk away with it, but he was sitting there and stretching the rubber and getting it pulled over and getting the tension consistent, things like that. Now you look these days and they're like, well, we have a really great group in Brookhaven. Anthony, who's the head of Brookhaven, head of operations, is one of the best call designers in the industry, but he has a core group of people that work on that product, and it's just not mass produced pull through. They have skin in the game on it, and that's once again goes down to the people. It's not just, hey, we're going to bulk order it, we'll take this in black, that in red, and that in white, and we'll do this, and we just mass produce it. No, they care, and that's why I love this company, is the people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, the one that, to kind of one more, the next step when you talk about, because Will told me about that, about buying all those, and the old ladies thought he was a weird kid, for buying all the condoms, and because he was buying in all sizes. He had the extra large, the large, and they were like, what is wrong with this guy?
Trying to figure out which one he likes.
Which one fits? Shoe fits, wear it.
He's a savant, guys. He's totally a savant.
So, but the one that got me was he said that, he puts all these, he gets the calls made, and at the time there was no packaging or anything. He put them in a cookie jar.
Yep.
And he took them to the hardware store and stuff. And so he walked in one day, and there was a guy, and he stood back because he wanted to see how the guy, whether he liked his call or not. And the guy pulled one out, puts it in his mouth, tries to blow the call, didn't like the call, took it out, put it back in the cookie jar, and grabbed a different one. And that was when Will was like, I got to put these in something. Yep. I can't just have them sitting in here like this. He's like, I got to package these where someone can't do that. And I just thought that was hilarious. Where we've come, I mean, today someone wouldn't even think about that. Mm-hmm. But back then, it wasn't, there
wasn't fake viruses going around back then.
Wow, there was a lot of things that weren't
mix of stuff back then. Yeah, we're 50 years, it goes in. And it's funny, I was, you guys were obviously, we did some photos this morning. I sat you with Matt, and you were hunting. I drove about 2 hours away. How do you pronounce that town? Ottumwa. And met with Brent Rogers, who has already written a book on the history of turkey call making and turkey call creation. All the greats, obviously, Will and Jimmy were included in that. And I sat and took photographs of stuff today just for the book. So back to what you're saying with the book, is it's going to be a coffee table style book. So emphasize on imaging with supportive writing in it. So won't be a detailed history, but more like an outline and a skeleton, inch base. But to go back to the packaging, it was a little piece of paper, let's say 3 by 4 inches, with like a mini sandwich Ziploc bag with the call in it, and you just staple it to it. There you go, right there.
Nice.
That's how he solved that process. But think about that in 1976, 77. I mean, that could have been revolutionary right there.
Absolutely.
Having that. And then going back to your call, the VHS tapes, he started, I forgot where he heard it, but he started making regular cassette tapes, not even video, just cassette tapes. So once again, you could sit there and listen, try to call, try to match up the tones and everything like that. And it was, we think it's archaic right now, but dude, 1981, put that tape in. Too bad he didn't have 8-tracks. That would have been bad.
Well, 40 years later, we're doing the same thing now, though. Podcasts are rolling around, which is just a new version of a cassette tape, basically.
Well, look at us here right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I graduated from the VHS tape to the cassette because now you could practice in your truck, and my mom loved me now and that's where everywhere I went, I didn't listen to music. I was listening to calls and trying to mimic those. And because when I moved to Montana, I had never heard an elk. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what they sound like. So what do? I go by Primos has got, I bet they did the same thing. Sure enough, they had a whole segment with cows.
Yep.
And I was like, perfect. But now I don't have to hit rewind and all that. You could pick the segment of the CD player or whatever, or the disc, and they would go right there. So yeah, it's just kind of morphed into some cool stuff, but nowadays there's so much. I almost think that it's kind of a lost art to learn how to blow a call.
It is.
Because you can fast track you should be able to figure it out in a few minutes. I mean, there's hundreds of things on you if you just Google it on YouTube or whatever.
Coyote calling has gotten they just got rid of it altogether with electronic calls.
Right.
Yeah, but remember, it is illegal in some states.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even in some states, you can electronic elk call. And I'm sorry for the life of me, I forget what states it is, but you can do it there.
Oh,
really? You can use electronic call for elk?
For deer, too.
Yeah, it's only in a couple states. And I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't remember what.
But I know Primos sold an e-deer. I don't think you guys don't have it anymore, though. No. It was electronic deer call. That's what it was. And it was designed so that you would strap it on the tree, and now you could make rattling over there. So then you could be downwind of your I mean, as far as effective, you couldn't ask for anything more effective.
Well, it's like an elk setup. You got the collar behind you. That elk's barreling into that one. They don't know you're there, and there you go. It's in the dirt.
Yeah, but
I thought that it was odd for coyote stuff that people made fun of me for having a hand call.
Right.
And I figured that was kind of a thing. Some do electronic stuff and some don't. No, that's pretty much a lost art with that too, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. But think about the variables you could do with it. I mean, there are a million variables. You can download everything off the internet. We currently don't have it right now, but we had a whole website dedicated to varied calls that
it still works.
We work with
just letting you know. It's old, but it still works.
No. I mean, the ones that are already downloaded, and they all come preset. But I mean, you get preset calls. Man, I think we get 210 with the double take right now.
Yeah.
And, dude, that's a lot of calls. And, like sequences and things like that. Like, it's insane. But when you're solo hunting, and once again, you put it over there to hope, you get the coyote to cross broadside to you so you can put it down. That's a great setup. You get that advantage. But it's be interesting to see the applique with deer. What you're talking about.
I wonder. I think coyotes are only because they're treated differently, meaning they're a nuisance and they want to get rid of them. Yeah. So the electronic thing
I got nothing against it. I suck at both. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no,
it's gone.
I'm just sitting here thinking though, like, how bad would that suck if you never had to blow a turkey call again? If it just hit play.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either. I don't think I would. I would not enjoy letting something make the sound for me to call in a turkey.
Well, it's half the process, right? Like just learning it. Like, we were sitting here playing with a slate call earlier, and I've got the cluck and I got a real good J tear, and but yeah, like my slate skills are terrible. Like, it's a box call, solid, but having the fun of calling one in with a slate for the first time, and it's you bringing it in. So once again, going back to icon calls, we have a long and a short range reed call for elk. And I was out on my hunt, and sure enough, like 4 cows got busted this way from another hunter. And sure enough, called them in with the short range on a reed call. And I was like, yeah, this is the best. Like, because the year before, I busted a couple of cows, and I basically challenge called them. It's hard to imagine, but yes, you can do a cow call challenge, because I was like, you just saw them bust every which direction. So got a little more subtle this year, and to see it turn around and see that excitement, even if it isn't what you want to come in. It's great, right? That's part of the process.
Well, and for those of you that the call that Jason's referring to, again, we got to demo it, so I carried it on Warren's elk hunt this year, and to get me away from the hyperlip single, pretty much an act of God. I was like,
older than you, isn't it?
Oh, it's been in a line, but it's been in a line for
30, 40 years.
20 years, over 20.
Yeah, it's 15 plus.
It was pre Hoochie Mama. It was a long time ago.
There's a lot of dead elk because of the Hoochie Mama too.
And there's a lot of educated elk because of that.
It goes both ways.
Because that's when I started.
Yeah.
I think the Hoochie Mama may have come out in 2003. and I started in 04. Right. I think is when, because it had just come out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when it first came out, I would go do a seminar, or not a seminar, but like a trade show. And Primos would tell me how many calls that I didn't tell, like send me X amount of bugles or X amount of, they would send typically 3 cases of, I think there was 36 in a case. Like, so I would have about 100 hoochie mamas to try to sell in 3 days or 2.5 days, at a trade show. I would never make it through Friday night.
Yeah.
They were all gone. I mean, and it was almost the exact same thing would happen every time. Some guy would walk up, I'd have one sitting there, he'd pick it up, and he's, I got one of these, and I walked down in that drainage, and I went, yeah, and every freaking bull around there started bugling, and I shot this bull, and so I didn't do every dude that heard it was like, hold on, he just picked that up and just squeezed it, and they all bought them. And so I was like, well, this is freaking easy. Fast forward about 3 years later, Primos would send me 12 of them. There was no longer a 36 pack.
That's because everybody had one.
They'd send me 12. Yeah. I'd send 11 of them back because some guy would walk up now and say, I have one of those. And I went into a drainage and I hit this call. And when I did, every bull in there left. Now I couldn't get anyone to buy them. But then after it, because the first 2 or 3 years, I still think it's the number one. I would bet money that it is the number one selling elk call ever. When it first came out, it just soared to the top. But there was still a place for it. And that's what I try to tell guys. Just don't use it by itself. Yeah. When you're using it with a hyperlip single, or you're using it with your bugle, and you're mixing in or a diaphragm call, and you're mixing in and you stick it in your pocket, because they obviously like it, or it wouldn't have been that effective. It is the right sound. But it's only one duration. It's always the same duration. So mix it up with other stuff, and it just makes everything sound more effective. Yep. And so that's and now, like I used it this year out in Colorado when I was calling for Warren, and we had bulls responding to it there, and that's on public land. Yep. And so to me, I think it had to go through those cycles, and now there's other stuff out there.
You always do it like you'll even put it in your pocket, or like you turn it, or you cover it up with something to make it doesn't even sound just like a plane,
right?
Like when you don't use it with anything else. It's helpful.
I think stuff comes down to trends too, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, diaphragm calls, that's the jam. It's been the jam for a few years, but I feel with some quality reads and some different size stuff. So let's go back to the end game with the Icon series and the short range from the Icon series, one being a whitetail buck call and the other one being a cow call for elk. It's short, it's manageable, and it doesn't take a bunch of space. So there you go. You adjust, it comes through instead of, you can sit there and dude, diaphragms are awesome. I am terrible at them because I have a really narrow palate and I can't get the sizing right.
Most people
are
bad at them.
Oh, dude, I choke on them. It's terrible. It's really funny. And I work for a call company.
Instead of a wacky fact, we're gonna have Jason just try to blow a diaphragm call that he's never.
Can't even do it. It's the worst. And it's like, man, it's like you get one of those. You feel like like a false person because I work for an amazing call company. We have great calls, and I suck at it. It's terrible, but I admit it. Read calls I'm good at. I can run that, and that's fine. And it's funny. I talk to other say athletes or professionals like yourselves, and there are a lot of guys out there. Come on, you just gotta claim that.
Professional.
Ride with it, Easton.
Professional what is what it were.
We can call it. Jokesters.
I wish I was an athlete, man. Yeah. That'd be legit. Oh, we don't get paid like they do.
You gotta work on that, man. Maybe NIL comes down into hunting, and then we really start to make it. Yeah, there we go.
I've heard that's ruining college football, but I'll take a piece of it for now.
It's funny. If we want to go down that hall, have you guys looked at college bass fishing? Dude,
I have heard all about it.
Crazy. Colleges recruit for bass fishing. It's insane. I've had the pleasure of spending some time with some professional bass fishermen, and a gentleman out of the Carolinas named Brian Thrift, and he's on the MLF tour. Guy is just a gentleman and a crushing fisherman. And we've talked about stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, I fished through college, everything like that. And then he goes, I put it all on the line and spent, 8 or 10 months, and then finally won my first tournament, used that money to reinvest and just start going. But you have these kids these days, like they are getting recruited into, and it's mostly southern, southeastern colleges, but there are some on the western U.S. and even northwestern U.S. There's a guy I forgot the professional guy's name. He rides. He fishes for Phoenix Boats and a bunch of other stuff, and he's at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is almost in Canada.
Yeah,
and professional bass fisherman. And he does well for himself. He has
wild.
Great YouTube page, but yeah, I mean, let's get NIL. NIL deer and elk hunting.
Yeah,
that's what we need to get.
The hunting side hasn't gotten there, but the trap shooting hasn't it?
Trap shooting,
college trap. Yeah, so the shooting.
Yeah. That's been a big thing though because it's worldwide.
Yeah,
there's a lot of other countries that are doing things like that. Archery, same thing. Archery's
picked up a lot of steam though in the last 10 years.
With compound,
yeah.
Well, with the compound getting to push into the Olympics, which is is it officially? I think it's officially in now. Because I know recurve is in the Olympic. If it isn't, it is being in the test rounds to before they go into the Olympics. I mean, that's going to put on steroids because the ASA, all of that, it's awesome. That stuff is cool. And I mean, man, I hope it gets down to 3D because that's some fun shit. Who doesn't have a good time at TAC, right? And TAC's exploded, and there's been a couple other smaller series built up, and there's there's even some gnarlier versions of TAC. I mean, TAC, when you come out west, you guys come to Utah, right? And we'll go shoot TAC at Solitude and Brighton ski resorts. They come together and set it all up in there, and I mean, you're at 8,500 feet to start. That'll chew up your lungs and your legs fast if you're not used to it. But there's another series. It's only 2 or 3 stops called Hike to Hunt. And you start at the bottom and you hike all the way to the top. So you're crushing a couple thousand vertical, and then you're shooting your bow going down the hill, which is really cool.
Really good time.
That would be great training.
Yeah,
I mean, it really would.
And that's what they do. They do it towards the end of the summer. So it's all right, hopefully you've trained up and you get on it and you go to do it and you're like, all right, I'm ready. Or you're like, man, I am not ready to go huff something that, go 8 miles in, put several 100-pound animal down and then split it up and hike it out.
I need to start asking for a lot more permission, and then I'll have to worry about hiking 8 miles.
Yeah.
Up and down my Iowa hills.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think there's a place out here. I don't think there's a place in Iowa that you could walk 8 miles without crossing a road.
No, probably not.
I don't. When we were talking about dragging deer, so I grew up in Virginia and I hunted the national forest there, and I shot a deer one time that was, I didn't have On-X obviously back then, but it was a mile and a half, something like that. I didn't know anything else other than drag. I mean, I'd never even heard of quartering or anything like that.
Ugh.
So I took off.
Yeah.
And I drug this freaking deer for probably 2.5, 3 hours. Got it to the truck, and there's no hide on the side of the deer. I was like,
I wonder why.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? I was all pissed. I was like, did I just ruin this? And then I was like, well, I wasn't mounting the deer, but I mean, I was so stoked about where I shot it. And then one year, finally, I shot a deer in the snow, and I was like, unbelievable how much easier it was to drag that deer.
Wow, it is not that time. We have not had this time of year yet.
Yeah.
This is our first podcast with that thing freaking cranking on.
No, I actually can hear the feedback.
Yeah. Give us a minute.
He'll shut it off.
Funniest thing about it, my dad shot his biggest whitetail in New Hampshire he ever shot. Shot it 12 gauge, shot it 1.5 miles back, and it snowed 5 to 8 inches the night before. Dragged that thing all the way back. I have my sister screaming at me, Dad's injured, blah, 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 and just a blood trail all the way back. Because we lived in this, it was very similar to Iowa, per se, very rural community. And we had telephone pole lines behind us. You just get on telephone lines, it's like a marsh swamp style area. You just send it back towards Winnipeg River, and he shot that thing right by the river and just hooked it up and dragged that pig all the way back.
That's when you get a boat.
Yeah.
And kayak.
Dude.
I told Warren that the other day. If he shoots a deer where we were hunting, we're going to get kayaks, and I don't care how far we have to carry the kayaks in to the river. We'll go down to the river, throw the deer on a freaking kayak, and pick ourselves up at the other end of the road.
Well, the other thing is I've met a guy one time, same place where I shot mine. This guy had shot a deer, not the same year, and he had a toboggan, and there was no snow on the ground, and I was like, and anyhow, he's dragging it. I think it was a doe, might have been a small buck, but anyhow, I asked if I could help him for a second because I wanted to see. Holy, it was like. Oh, that thing just slid across the ground like no other. I mean,
I tried that with the 4-wheeler one time.
Yeah, but you'd need a big-ass toboggan for a deer here.
Yeah, I learned that.
Yeah, these deer here won't fit in the toboggan that I'm talking about.
Good old corn-fed deer. Nothing
for real. I wasn't about to spend $300 on one of those things.
No, but you get the little plastic sleds with the ropes on it, or you get the ice fishing sleds, like, the black ice fishing sleds.
That's what you'd have to get.
Yeah, and you run ropes on it, and you just hook it up to a harness setup. It's funny, there's I think his name's Martin Craig. He and a friend shot a bull in Utah in an absolute pile of a hole, like end of extended, so it was like mid-December-ish, maybe a little bit earlier than that, and they shot it, brought the first pieces out, then brought the sled back in and just hooked it up and sled those quarters right out. And it was,
I don't blame them.
Hey, smarter, right? Like, it works great. I mean, it's end result.
Well, when I first moved to Montana, the first elk I killed, first person tells me game card it. That's the easiest way. So I game carded one. I quartered it. I learned how to quarter, and I put it all on a game card, and it was freaking sucked.
Really, like two-wheel game card?
Two-wheel handle,
really?
but it was across sage.
Oh, yeah,
and so every time you got, the sage would stick up high enough that because that thing's only like that high off the ground. The wheels weren't real, and now they've come a long ways. The wheels are better and bigger. These were made to be packed, and anyhow, it was designed for a whitetail deal. But then someone else told me, "Oh, you can just cut them in half," and I'm like, "Cut them in half," and then drag it, and you'll be. And so we did that with the Howard Evans killed a cow. What a freaking nightmare that was! I was like, "I'll never do this again." So then, eventually.
An elk?
An elk. Yeah, we drug
still
two halves.
That's a lot of animal.
It was a cow, so it was probably 200 pounds each side.
Yeah, it's still 200 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, it was still sucked. And I was like, what? And I look back, and I'm like, what the hell were we thinking? But I didn't live there. I hadn't been around any of this. And so once I figured out quartering, I was like, and then eventually that expanded into I don't gut them. I just started doing the gutless method and just quarter them. And, I mean, now it's down. Warren's elk, when we brought it out this year, Nick, that was about as easy I mean, we had it all quartered in everything, had the head off and all that in probably an hour.
That's awesome. That's
it had everything in bags and stuff. And I bought new bags, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. And it was 2 trips because there was 3 of us. And it wasn't a killer trip for anyone. I mean, I've done the hind quarter, front shoulder, and maybe a little extra meat.
Brutal.
And it sucked. And we didn't have to do that. So, it's come a long ways.
Game carts
Type
make
2
me feel
fun,
stupid.
boys.
Game carts make me feel stupid.
They
sound so good.
So
where do you use a freaking game cart that's actually worth using?
I can tell a logging road.
Yeah.
When you have a road, you get something to a road. That's a lot. Well, when you're talking like the Beartooth was 5.5 miles. Yeah. So if you had 5.5 miles that you could put it on a game cart, that's how I got that spike out when those 2 guys left me.
Niche market, I feel like.
No, you'd be
certain
surprised.
places.
So, chariots, like kids' chariots, you hook up to your bike. So back to that deer I shot behind my house.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, I got photos to prove it. Dragging it down the hill, I dragged it like a half mile, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get this thing out of here. This sucks. And it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's Thanksgiving morning, and there's it was warm out, so there were a bunch of families that walking down.
Oh boy!
Fully gutted, like went old school and sliced the throat and pulled the esophagus out the throat, so we couldn't get up in it because I'd broken. I'd hit it with 2 arrows and I'd broken it one off, and we couldn't tell where the broadhead was. So safer way to do it. And so I'm dragging it down, and I call my friend Nate, and I'm like, Nate, I'm gonna give you the code to my garage. can you go to the garage, pull my kid's Chariot down, and I'm going to drop another pin to where you need to park and another pin up this fire road, and just meet me in this spot. He meets me there, toss it in the back, just carried it right on down.
Goodness gracious.
Dude, that last 3/4 of a mile was blissful. Let me tell you.
That's southern
back to the
redneck
car.
right there.
That's New Hampshire redneck right there. And I have zero qualms with that. So.
See, I've seen Cam Haines and all these guys like throw a deer over their shoulders and carry them out. I did that years ago. Yeah. I killed my first bear that I killed in Montana. I killed him right at 2 miles off the road. And it wasn't a big bear. It was probably 150 pounds dressed. It was probably
you Cam Haines that thing.
And I put it over my shoulders, and I started out, and I had it so perfect.
Yeah,
like it was sitting on my pack, and I had my bow in my hands and the paws, it just was perfect that I wouldn't stop. I was like, do not stop, because if I stop, I'm afraid I'll never get it situated like this again. And out I went 2 miles without stopping with 150. Like I said, he was like 150, 175-pound bear. And I look back at that, and I'm like, that was just stupid, though.
How's your spine feeling these days?
Well, nowadays, that's why I can't go to tack, because I can only shoot the first 3 targets, and then I'm done. So
you get a crossbow.
Okay, I can't go to tack because I can only shoot my bow for 3 shots. And so there's no crossbow situation in that, but nice try.
I'd pay to watch him shoot one.
Oh, God, I'd pay to see the looks of people that would hit him with a crossbow, especially in a Western tack event. Eastern would be better, Western, not so much.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that'd
funny.
Be good.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty good. So... You shot a deer this year.
Yeah. What's the date?
What's the plan here? Come on.
Well, I'll go back to something my dad said in one of the episodes that we filmed an episode called Pop, and we were duck hunting.
I have a feeling there's going to be a bleep in this.
No. And my dad shot at a duck, and he did not hit it. And we asked him what happened. And he says, well, I didn't want to shoot that duck. I like ducks. So I guess I don't want to shoot a deer. I like deer,
That's
okay.
The doe that we saw tonight was beautiful, and I had a tag in my pocket. I could have shot her, but no. Here's the I don't know. Like I told Nick, in years past, I would have already hit the panic button. I would have been like, okay, this is bullshit. Something's pissing me off. I don't know what's going on. Why does this keep happening? Because now I have had some really weird stuff happen this year that have thrown evenings off or days off where, the perfect scenario is coming, got to be here at this time, can't go. And I mean, that kind of, the weirdest one, and I don't think we've talked about this yet. Nick and I, the other morning, this is probably 3 days before you came, Jason. And so we get set up on a good deer. I got a good deer that showed up on a trail camera. I've never seen this deer before. And so we get in there, and he hit one of our rub trees. And so we're sitting on this rub tree, right? And we're sitting there, and I think it was probably 8 o'clock, 8:30. Nick looks over, and he goes, hey, there's a deer walking the edge of the corn. I look through the binoculars, and I'm like, dude, this is a pretty good deer, like a really good deer. And I hadn't put 2 and 2 together that it was this new deer yet, because I was looking for a different buck. And so I'm texting Warren. I'm going, hey, does the buck that you said that was in here, does he have a big G4? And he's like, yeah. And then finally this buck chases this doe all over in there, and he does what every buck is going to do. I mean, this is what you're looking for, right? Is that they're rutting hard, and then she just starts zigzagging and eventually goes right by you, and then here he comes, and then you get a shot. Well, they did all of that except for come right by us. He chased her, and she's coming right at us, and then she turns right. And not because she ever winded us or saw us or anything. That's just the way she went. They went over, and we thought they were gone. And then 15 minutes later, I told Nick, I was like, I'd pay money to see that doe come pop up over that hill, right now. And 2 minutes after that, he goes, oh, my gosh, I see her. And I'm like, where? And he says, right there on the hill. And here she comes. And I'm like, okay, here we go. This time we're going to get a shot. They walk by 49 yards going through the trees.
Chip shot, right?
Whatever. I don't shoot that far. So, and so.
You ain't going to get any of us to do it.
I know. This is crazy. You guys shoot a ton. You're top of your craft, right? Like you guys shoot a bunch of arrows. You pay attention to it. and this is something I always want to ask. It's like, I see something sub 60 yards, steel's getting thrown. You guys, it's sub 40 yards. What is the difference between Western and Eastern hunting with that 20-yard gap right there?
There isn't.
There isn't?
A little harder work.
Because we do the same when we go out west. We're 40 yards and under still.
That's respectful. That's awesome.
I can't. Well, and I'll answer it because I probably push these guys that way.
Yeah.
I respect it's an ethical thing. I cannot go over 60. I can put it in a baseball size at 60 yards consistently, arrow after arrow. But it's a respectable thing to have it in at 40 yards. I just wasn't quite sure if it's like, okay, we usually don't get that longer shot because of terrain, branches, things like that, just the build of the area. And that's why I always this is a great platform to ask you guys that question.
And I'll go back to, because I was the one that tried it. Yeah. I took shots that were farther. Yeah. Sometimes not intentionally. When I first moved to Montana, I didn't realize what I misjudged yardage. I didn't even have a rangefinder back then. But anyhow, long story short, I just wasn't as good. I just found that if I went back and looked at how many shots I'd had and how many I had been successful on and how many 40 yards and under, I'm like in the 90 percentile.
Yeah.
40 to 60, I'm in the 10 percentile. I mean, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And part of it was not me. Part of it was I could hit what I was aiming at, but the animal had a chance to move. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm just going to have to get closer, period.
Well, does that come into like jumping the string and things like that? Because, whitetail are infamously more skittish than muleys, things like that. And that's a huge 20 yards is, it's 60 feet or so. 60 feet or so. That's a lot of distance. Even if you're shooting a great feet per second, that's a lot of time. So, I figured those came into the factors of it. And going back to your percentages, I forgot there's a shop in either New Mexico or Arizona. The guy's been taking inventory of what people have been hunting that come in and out of the shop, the arrow, all the details, all the specs. If they've missed something, if they've hit and killed something, hit and wounded something. And it was on a couple of podcasts. It's really interesting to see the stats. And the stats it was like 40 to 60 we had the biggest kill ratio, which was kind of crazy.
That's the biggest ego ratio.
No,
too.
That's what it is. He talks about 60 plus, and he thinks a lot of people don't admit that they sent something that deep and either wounded or missed an animal because ego comes into play. But sub 40. I mean, that's great. I mean,
I don't even like 40.
I
don't. Not a fan of.
I like 17. 17's my magic number.
That's great. It's really good to know that, and it's I'll full disclosure. We had this conversation. I am a garbage hunter. But I will output the days, output the distance, out things. I take a lot of romantic walks with my bow, and I'll go out, 5-10 miles, do a real nice loop, see some real pretty pictures, and just sadly go back into the truck and drive a couple hours home, things like that. And it's, it's kind of unique to see. I love talking to guys, talk to people hunting all over the U.S. now, and to see the success you guys get and, the ethics that come into play with that. And it's amazing.
Well, I do think that the success in our kill ratio is as high as it is because we're shooting. At that point, when you're sub 40, yes, but when you're sub 20, we're not picking a baseball. We're picking a dot.
Yeah.
And if we miss it, it's the whole theory of aim small, miss small.
Yeah.
If we miss it by an inch, we're not even remotely out of the kill zone. If the deer ducks a little bit or steps a little bit or, you still have a humongous margin of error.
Go ahead. The only thing I could see with the 40 to 60 40 to 60 yard argument because a lot of people have that, is the sound really.
Yeah.
I mean, but then when you even put math to the sound, it doesn't really make all that much sense. But as far as they're probably not going to move as far as reacting.
But too far away to hear the bow go off, unless it's 60. A really loud bow.
I really think that's partly why I don't like even shooting 40, because I think 40 is almost a sweet spot where your bow can't outperform the speed of the sound and they can clearly hear it.
Yeah.
Which is because I've literally, I mean, I've passed multiple deer just over 40 solely for the sake of one freaking deer that I shot at 40 that I had like my pin, my arrow, everything. Deer is calm, feeding, no care in the world.
Morphe.
Yes. I literally called him Morphe, like Morpheus from freaking
oh yeah.
Whatever, the Matrix. And my arrow, when we watch the video, is going perfect right behind the shoulder. And but it's going to hit barely touch him low wise, because I was aiming pretty much off of him, because I didn't know. I felt as though he was going to drop a lot. Never touched him. By the time I got to him,
right underneath,
over his back.
Over his back, he ducked out of the way.
It was the first time I ever felt in my life, because everybody's like, "Oh, I shot a deer or whatever, and it ducked the string," and I'm like, or jumped the string. I'm like, I feel like that's gonna be pretty hard for a deer to do. Like, how far were you shooting, whatever. That was the first time I thought I missed flat out. And Warren and Dad were watching the footage, and they're like, "Dude, look at this. Your arrow is about to hit, barely touched the bottom of his." Like right behind the shoulder, left and right's perfect, and it still doesn't touch him because it goes right over him. And so 40 yards,
18 inches,
about 18 inches. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was unreal. And so that was, to me, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stick with 30, 35 maybe, because I've been able to do that without an issue. That one, but that was out of my control. That's what drives me nuts about it. The other side to the 40 to 60 yard argument, though, is I don't believe, which I would like to, and this will probably piss a lot of people off, I don't believe there's very many people out there that can genuinely shoot consistently past 40 yards. They may say they can. I'm not coming at you.
No.
I'm not coming at a lot of the people out there, because the amount of people that we've shot with or shot around and just hear them say what they can do is totally different from what they can actually do. So that 40 to 60 yard argument for the sound and everything, where the deer or animal can't react to your sound of your bow or your setup or whatever, totally checks out. The amount of people I believe they can make that shot every single time, very, very low percentage. Not to mention, what if the deer just takes a footstep to feed one more? Like, I mean, there's just so much that can happen. And so that's, I like stacking things in my favor, not a chance.
I agree with everything you say right there. There are a lot of people who think they're way better than what they are. And if you're not practiced up, that's the thing. Your equipment isn't dialed, like everything like that. Like knowing where your arrows are going to travel with your fletching setup, things like that. It's kind of interesting. It's even like, a big fan of practicing with broadheads. So I shoot slick trick broadheads. I know you guys
shooting expandable.
Yeah. These amazing things with those. And do they have the screw that you can lock them in, or is that the
no? They sell a practice.
They sell a dummy one.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about slick trick. I bought enough of them and put enough in the dirt that I've had to rebuy them.
Yeah,
they have like a red one that comes in. That's just like it's silhouette, and it's great to shoot it. I don't think it travels exactly like the expandable does, but it's good enough to practice up with that. And that's where I really think people, it's practice makes perfect, and you've got to make that ethical call.
And each person has to find that place, but you got to be honest with yourself. The moment that you go out and you shoot 9 arrows or you shoot 10 at 50 yards, let's say, in between that 40 and 60, and 10 of them are right, or 9 of them are right there, but one of them is 6 or 8 inches off.
A little one right over there.
Yeah, I did this or I did that. Well, how do you know you're not going to do that?
Yeah.
Where if you can't put them all in there, then something's wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. Even when I practice, you'll have an arrow that is haywire, whatever. You're like, okay, wait a minute. Or, especially a release or something like that. You don't get a clean release. Typically what I'm looking for, and like I told Nick yesterday, I shot my bow a few times, and I was like, okay, this bow is hitting exactly where the pins are. I have to be able to hold that pin there. And that's gotten harder for me at my age and at with my shoulders, I just can't pinpoint like I used to for as long as I used to. I could draw a bow and hold it for 2 minutes. I can't do that anymore. The other day he had me timed at like 1:20 when on that doe. Yeah, it was like 1:20 that I'm holding on this doe, and that's a long time for me. Then I start shaking really bad.
I think I think a lot of people out there can't hold over 30 seconds. Like
no, I would agree with that.
The deer I shot this year, I had to I missed him twice. Full disclosure. Third time was the charm, boys. And I shot him. Last time I ranged him was 34 yards. And I think I shot him at 40 because I had my tape at 4,500 feet, and I shot him at just over 10,000 feet. So my arrows were running hot. So I went over at another footage of 53, but that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, pay attention to your bubble, boys and girls. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. Like I pulled and I held 3 times on that last arrow, and I don't think I could hold over 45 seconds. I will be very honest with you guys, and I pull a lot of, I send a lot of arrows a week. I'm on 3D ranges, like tack style ranges 2 days a week. I'm at, standing target shooting 2 days a week. And I will admit 45 seconds is long for me. And I had to drop it both times. So like I don't think, the fact you can hold it 1:20, damn, that's awesome.
Well, the one
that, probably because you made us do it when we were kids.
Yeah, when they were young, when I had a couple things I made them do, and that was, this might be something that you could, and it was just, I didn't know, nobody had any like educational stuff to say here. I was trying to figure out how to get out of my kids' heads the ego part of how much poundage, because other kids would say, you need to shoot this or you need to do that. And I was like, okay, here's the deal. Sit down, and I know you can't say this anymore, but I'm going to. Sit down Indian style.
Yeah.
Okay, so cross your legs and sit there, draw your bow. Okay, if you can't draw your bow, then we're turning the poundage down. And so they draw their bow, and I was like, okay, perfect. And then I remember, I don't know if it was Easton or Warren the one time wanted to go to like 45 pounds, and he was at 40. And I was like, sit down. He sat down, couldn't draw it. Got to 43 or something, like, okay, there you go. We went up 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, I'm okay with that, but if you can't get that bow drawn, then the next one was draw it and let's hold it for a minute. And because you don't know what's going to happen. And so I just like ingrained that in them, that's what we're going to do. And so now I do the same for me. I'm down to 58 pounds because I can't draw 65 pounds. I have a hard enough time drawing 58. You guys have seen that.
Yeah.
But that was a little questionable the other day. Yeah. Like Easton's like, yeah, you might want to kind of like, he's 180 degrees. You need to watch. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I saw him pull back. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
About. But what's crazy is when I'm drawing on animals.
That's what I said. We need to give him a shot of adrenaline. He'll be good.
Works.
But he doesn't have that right now.
But
so
I don't. So when I'm practicing, it's horrible.
Yeah, but game time, 100%. You can practice all you want, but buck fever, right? Like 2 thumbs. This guy all day long.
That's good.
Like it's real. Everybody, if you say you've never had it and you still don't get that little twinge, you're lying.
Oh yeah.
Dude, any deer, like any of these gentlemen up on the wall, these deer right here, fired up. Like, this is awesome. This is happening right now. And it's like, I will, unfortunately, in Utah, where I'm living now, you can't shoot does until extended. And if you shoot a doe, you can't shoot a buck. Like, you get 1 deer. That's it. And their management system is great. They have amazing deer there, both does and bucks. But I would practice like to try to numb when I'm in the field. I draw on does and get the anchor, put on that. But dude, buck fever, it's real.
Yeah. Well, what's yes, awesome, and I told him this year, I shot 8 does, and I'm not done. I'm going to still probably shoot
stacking bodies.
But when it's right after I shoot, Nick will ask me a question, like, what, or he'll come to me with a camera. and almost every single time my right leg is just going nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is why I do. I mean, or I'll notice it sometimes. They'll be coming, and I tell Nick, okay, we're going to shoot this one. And it's almost like your brain goes, oh, this is different. Because a doe walks by me today, and I'm not amped up or anything because I'm not intending on shooting it. The moment that my body knows, we're going to do this, well, we need to kind of think about that again. And then here it comes. And that's the part you can't explain to someone who doesn't hunt.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. There ain't a drug out there that does that I know of. And I tried a whole bunch of them. So
there we go. Man's experienced. Man is experienced.
That's my dad.
So, but anyhow, it's just phenomenal. I love it. I love the hunting aspect. So.
Well, now that we know that you're related to drugs, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He may not send any shots, but you're sending plenty of shots tonight. Shots fired everywhere. Beat up on Warren, beating up on your old man.
He's admitting to it. I didn't do anything on that one.
Oh, man, that's freaking awesome.
So did you hit him up? Does he? Do you think he's got one ready?
Wacky fact.
Wacky fact.
Hit me with it. I'm ready.
No,
I'm nervous.
Do you have one?
You got to come up with it.
Oh, I got to come up with a wacky fact?
that's what we.
All right.
I gave you an hour.
I got a wacky fact. This one's going to dig, too.
Okay.
Greatest NFL quarterback of all time.
It's not him.
Oh, it's him.
He's
That's not a wacky
Patriots
fact.
fan. Yeah, no, actually.
His button's not working.
There you go. That's the first X we've had
on.
in a hot minute. And just so everybody knows, he's referring to freaking Tom Brady.
Legend.
He was a legend at the
He's
Bucks.
very good.
I liked him at the Bucks.
Dude, he's got 7 rings, I think. Is
Yeah.
it 7? He goes on to both hands.
You should start counting up the scandals he's got with him.
You know, the funniest thing, they talk about Deflategate and everything like that. And what was the team they were playing that blew up upon? I forgot who it was. And one of the guys on the team, he goes, deflated balls or not, they still kicked our ass that whole game all over the place.
He was unreal.
I mean, dude, you look at like teams like the Cowboys who I can't stand. Dude, Jennifer Lopez has got more rings than they do. Just saying.
Well, you're saying I'm taking shots over here. Holy cow.
It's okay.
I did like him quite a bit more when he didn't have Bill Belichick by his side.
Yeah.
And I think I just like seeing him prove himself again to the Bucks. Even though they took a lot of guys with them, they did something.
No, they did something magical, and it was cool.
Belichick, you will not get me to change on that one. I can't stand that guy. But it was very, 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 very rewarding to watch Tom Brady leave and watch Belichick flop like a fish without his prized possession.
Yeah,
well,
but they were a good combination. I mean, think of all the guys he brought in. He brought in like Edelman, Gronk, all that stuff. Like he had a vision for players to bring them up and get them going. You know, he had an eye for stuff, and it goes back into that. Like, let's talk about you guys acquiring leases and land, talking to farmers and things like that.
You're relating us to Bill Belichick right now is the
Really,
biggest
yeah.
insult I've had in a really long
we
time.
Throw Brady in
as a
there.
compliment.
He throws Brady in the mix. You know, there's multiple of you guys. But I mean, you see the vision, you see the potential. Like, went down and shot photos this morning. You guys hadn't been into the drainage. We went into this morning, and there's some potential in there, right? And to have the vision to look on Onyx, things like that, talk to the landowners, like the stuff you guys do even past that of, you know, you help the couple that has that 120 acres over here, that you help them burn the land, things like that. That's the vision and the knowledge that make you win. And I think in football that kind of transcends, like that knowledge, like, you know, you get past the buck fever, you get past that stuff and hold it off until you win, and then it comes in.
Well, that's one of the things that I would never. I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I liked him better after he went to the Bucks, not because I'm a Bucks fan, because I wouldn't even watch him then, because I didn't. He had a different arrogance in my. There's two types of people that are arrogant. One is that he wants to tell you how great they are.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't do that. He had he had the smug, like, but when they beat the Atlanta Falcons, when they just
That was incredible.
It was, I mean, because then you go hear the sound bites of him on the side. He never wavered. Mm-hmm. He always believed in that, like, we're going to win this game. We just have to get our shit back together, and then here we go.
Yeah.
And he just kept on and on and on. And so me and him have been talking about, like, this deer season. It's just, we're like, when I answered you today and said we're not even to the 2-minute warning yet.
That was Warren.
Yeah, no.
Warren is crashing out.
Yeah,
not me. Not me.
Did Warren walk out early today?
No, he's just like, this sucks. I'm about ready to send Bailing Twine to the underworld, which Bailing Twine is Warren's nemesis, like Patches.
Like Patches?
Dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but Patch is a problem. I guess Bailing Twine
is a problem.
Is a problem.
He beats the freaking crap out of every deer that walks.
But my point is, if you want to be successful at a certain level of hunting or whatever, whether you set that, you got to have that Tom Brady kind of, because you're going to have some times when it doesn't go well. Elk hunting's probably to me, elk hunting has been the most mental challenge of all hunting that I've done with a bow, because they'll wear on you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you hunt them for a week, 10 days.
Physically too.
But it's the mental, at least for me, it's the mental. Okay, what are they doing today? What's the weather going to be? How are they going to come? Because they're not going to do the same thing twice. You got to figure it out again and again and again and again. And so they just wear on you to the point where it'll physically exhaust you from the mental point of it. But yes, they will physically exhaust you as well. And that's why I think you see a lot of guys tap out. They're done. I mean, they will just flat leave an elk hunt, and say, or they don't go to the extra mile to get the right boots, the right packs, the right optics, and then they suffer. And they don't. You try to tell someone, these are the 3 places you can't. If your feet hurt after day 1, you're screwed.
You're done.
If your stuff doesn't go in your pack the right way and sitting on your back and you're packing it around every day for 12 hours a day, it ain't going to work. Well, you come back to here and you get a deer season like this where you just can't get one to walk in. You can't start to focus on the things that are going wrong. I mean, now granted, the other day, I've never had this happen. Hopefully I never do. Nick and I had to get out of a tree because someone was shooting at us.
Not at you.
Not at us. Not intentionally.
That sounded like they were getting freaking attempted murder over here.
but it
was close.
But there was someone target practicing at their house, and we happened to be 400 to 500 yards behind the house, and bullets start flying through the trees. And I'm like, what are the chances that this is happening on the day when we finally have that big buck that had walked behind Nick and I walked all around him? We got back in that tree. This afternoon's going to be it. We know he's here. We know he just went up there and bedded. Hour later, Nick's like, I see a big buck, and it's right behind us. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then 10 minutes later, bullets start zinging through the trees, and we got to walk by the buck to get it. But we have to get out. This is not like, like maybe we should get out. This is like, you got to get down.
He still contemplated. He still thought about, is a deer more worth mine and my camera guy's life?
I almost told Nick, you get on this side of the tree and then you're good. And then
you'll stay there.
And I'll just...
That's what I would have been doing. Yeah. That's why you saddle hunt. You can get on the other side of the tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case bullets start flying.
360. Yeah. But confidence kills, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to have that confidence. You know you're going to run it out. You know you're going to have that time. And it gets weary. There are other factors, right? Like, dude, you miss a buck. Like, you 25 yards and you stuff one over the back because it goes down. You got to be okay with it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall. Like, one of the first stalks ever had on deer, on a muley, tripped over it, rolled, broke like half my arrows on my bow, and went down the hill. It was the backside of place called Thurston Peak up above Kaysville, Utah, and it's a hump. It's 5 miles in, and first big solo hunt, things like that. And I knew where they would come out because I was watching them. Sure enough, old gray, like we're talking August, but he's gray. And you're like, this is an old guy. Sure enough, comes up, half an hour left to light, and I need to cover like a mile. So I'm just like, humped this way down, tripped and fell, rolled on it, and I'm like, oh, I bent. Didn't break. I bent like 3 arrows, things like that. I fell on top of it. And I had 2 arrows left in 3 days. Got to do it. Got to run that confidence. You can't let it chew you up. You miss that deer, you're not seeing what you want to see. People are shooting at you. don't let it bend you. Put a sticky note on that guy's door next time you go.
We will be back out there tomorrow.
I think that guy got more than a sticky note.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say we're positive that's never going to happen again.
Yeah, that's as far as we're going on that one. Continue on.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So our wacky fact was not so wacky, but we don't have time for another wacky fact.
The wacky opinion.
Wacky opinion. I agree.
Borderline.
But again, I want to thank Jason for being here. Jason Dyer's here from Primos, and the Icon Calls, you guys are going to want to check them out, whether it's the elk ones or the whitetail ones. The whole line is just going to be that cool. And then definitely stay tuned as you're going to see us talking about it, especially when the book comes out and stuff like that. The 50th anniversary for Primos is coming here. So, Jason, thank you again for being here. We sure appreciate. We're so glad to have you. The photos were amazing.
We saw part of them.
Yep. So, with that, we are going to sign off, and hopefully the next time that we talk to you, either Warren or I will have shot a buck, probably Warren, and it might not be one that he knows of because he's just kind of...
Warren is ready to pull the trigger, let me tell you. I've been talking him off the ledge for many days now.
He was ready to shoot a doe today.
Yeah, but like the other day, I'm sitting there like, Warren, no. That's no, you're not doing this.
Right.
And he's
practice,
like, I got an itchy trigger finger. I'm ready to go.
So, good chance Warren will have filled a tag by the next time we talk to you guys. Me, maybe not. I'll still be sitting on it, but that's okay. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We sure appreciate it. And remember, Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving. Go to the website. Check out all the apparel that we have. There's still some scents there. If you live in some of the southern states and you need some, you can grab what you need. But other than that...
Stay tuned for a Black Friday sale, too.
Oh, yeah. Black Friday. That's next. This will air, so...
We'll be running it next week.
So, yep. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
This week, if you're hearing it next week.
Right.
Yeah, it comes out
the
Tuesday,
week of
right?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's probably a Black Friday sale already. Yeah. So go get some stuff. It's on sale.
Thanks for watching. This is the Raised Hunting Crew signing off. We'll see you.